Welcome back to my channel, Cancer. This is just an impromptu reading for the month of July 2023, or whenever you find this. So what I'm going to do is just give you a general idea of what I see here, and then we'll flesh it out as we go along. So what I'm seeing here this month for, again, the month of July, I'm just trying to do a few different reads here. I did pull a few other cards sort of off to the side, but just for the sake of room and because I'm sort of on the go when I do things, I'll pull them forward here in just a few minutes. So right now we're just going to start off with what's happening here with the Emperor. So what I see with the Emperor, of course, is somebody who's trying to take charge of their life. Somebody who's really trying to put themselves into a position where they feel like they have some sense of where things are at and what to expect. I feel like things have felt as though they've been out of control over this last little bit here. You are seeking stability for sure, and for some, I mean, if you're in an entrepreneurial situation, you're definitely looking at trying to be your own boss, that kind of thing. But for others, this is a situation of really trying to regain some sense of control, because with the Three of Pentacles, I feel like you've got a lot of things up in the air here. Normally it's kind of a card of leveling up, and you could very well be trying to pursue this, but right now there's a sense of frustration because I see the Hanged Man here. So you're in a position where, you know, you're almost afraid to move into this energy of taking control of your life, because it does sort of require, you know, or it does require period action, but with the Queen of Swords, it requires more thought and taking control of your mental faculties. So this is kind of where I see things are at. So I still feel like you're in that position of, you know, something's not quite moving ahead yet. Although I do see action further out, you're still sort of struggling with, again, some conflicts, a lot of inner conflicts that are still coming through here. Excuse me, but when I look at the Emperor here again, I mean, this is still somebody who could be a father figure as well that's coming through here, that's trying to assist in, or it doesn't have to be a father figure. It could certainly represent as somebody who is, you know, just a very strong character that has the ability to make, you know, not quick decisions, but make strong, solid decisions and that kind of thing, and maybe assisting you in moving your life ahead in terms of your finances, as well as just your skill set. The Emperor, like I said, it does represent as an Aries for me, and that seems to be what's coming through, that you are trying to, you know, put a plan into action is really what I see there. And I feel like you're still in that space of trying to organize yourself, and it definitely speaks to you trying to promote yourself in some way. But again, we'll kind of get through to the other energy over here and just see where that leads. But right now, and it does have some positive end here, just so you know, but I do see that where you're at right now is that you're really just trying to get a hold of the things that you can control right now, is what I would say. The Emperor is somebody who's really, you know, relies on their logic and their reasoning. So they're not about to make any false moves or any quick moves. They're really going to put a lot of time and energy into whatever they are, you know, focused on. They're not about to take action on something unless they feel it has sort of a full, safe kind of, that's the word I'm looking for here, basis or foundation before they are able to, you know, act in move in this direction. So right now, like I said, it feels like you're almost still looking for opportunities here, because you are still in that place of trying to take charge of, you know, where things are at and how you go forward. So again, when we get into, even in terms of health, I feel like there are some aspects here that you are still, you know, considering ways to heal yourself. It feels like a lot of mental energy is going into that. It does feel like you are still very much in a low period. You know, mentally, there's a lot of back and forth kind of energy here, even though there is some progress. I do feel like you're quite focused, as I said, on skill building, moving in the direction of improving your situation for sure. But like I said, the hangman requires, and able to move into that space, I mean, that really requires somebody who has the ability to change their perspective. You know, this is really someone who has to, you know, kind of reverse this stuck thinking. So whatever stinking thinking, or however that goes there, was coming in, you know, this is you having to sort of break away from a particular mindset, because this is a transitory card, and it does indicate that there is a level of frustration here. So, you know, if plans are being postponed, and that could very well be the energy here because of what I see here, something looks delayed or stalled or halted. And I just feel like there is a high level of frustration, and there's even confusion about, you know, how you're going to move forward again in this new direction, because there is a new direction further out with the Ace of Pentacles. These are all the clarifiers. And of course, with the Queen of Swords, again, it feels like you need to strategize more and able to kind of move, or, you know, move on something. Again, you're sort of in a place of suspension. Something is not really, you're not really advancing yet in the way that you'd like it. Possibly, again, because you're confused about your direction with the Seven of Cups. So there might be something here that you're trying to build on, but it's almost like you don't quite see the way forward yet. But the Three of Wands does indicate that you are kind of moving into that space of advancing something, for sure. But again, it's almost like you are just kind of, it's more like a pressurized sort of situation is what I would say there, because we do have the Nine of Wands, and that's right by the Knight of Swords. So it's like and next to the Ten of Swords. So you really want to move quite hastily into a direction, but you're coming through very quickly, finishing up this cycle, so that you will be able to do that. I mean, we've got Nine of Wands, a lot of burnout energy, a lot of physical exhaustion. There's a lot of mental energy here with the Knight of Swords, a lot of mental energy, period, in this reading. And the Ten of Swords does indicate to me that you're quite burned out, you know, of the fighting, you know, or you're definitely needing to change your perspective here. Like I said, I mean, there is some blockages that you're still mulling through. I would still say that, you know, this inner journey does require you to shift your mindset, you know, taking a look at some of the negative patterns and the things, those situations that you're allowing to drain your energy. So it's the way that you're looking at a situation, and the only way to really get out of that is to take action and sort of stop the cycle. There's a lot of research that's out there that, yes, it's fine to go inward and try to find out your answers, but, you know, for the most part, it's not even just about positive thinking. It's really along the lines of, you know, being realistic about the situation. If it's something that you can't control, or there's too many elements that are missing and able for you to move forward, then you still have to move forward. You know, like, and when I say that, you don't have to move forward for sure, but then you're not going to, nothing changes. But if you do take action in a particular direction, whether you feel secure about it entirely or not, at least if you have enough stability in a particular area and confidence or belief in yourself, you'll be able to overcome whatever is, you know, up ahead here anyway. So it's more about belief in oneself, really, because the Emperor is somebody who believes in themselves. This is somebody who feels like, you know, regardless of whether I fail, I still believe I have something to contribute, something to offer, something to, you know, move me in the direction of gain and advancement. So the Hangman, like I said, is you feeling frustrated and not really sure what to do here. It's kind of a pressurized sort of situation, like I said, with that Queen of Swords in there too. But events will line up, you know, as you advance here. But again, it still requires you to stop overthinking the past, because again, you're not, if you can't find the answers in, you know, I guess whatever is a reasonable time for you, then it moves into that space of how many years do you want to delay a start, you know, in advancing forward. And it doesn't, like, in one sense as well, you know, when you take a look at your skill set and you try to strategize, It's more based on things like, what is it that I have an interest in? Where are my, if I don't have a skill set in it, how do I achieve it? Like, what is one, two, three? What are the things that I need to set up and able to get there? And even if I don't catch onto it quickly or whatever, that's really beside the point, because the point is if you enjoy something or you want something, it doesn't matter how long it takes. You'll do what it takes to get there, regardless of how many people are sort of standing there, naysayers. And there will always be naysayers. There's never going to be anybody that's on the average. I mean, you might find a few people that are there, in your corner, but for the most part, it's really kind of a self-motivated belief, that you have to line up with your values and your sense of what's important to you and all of those things, because that's the only thing that kind of conviction keeps you moving forward. Everything else is more along the lines of, am I trying to please other people? Does their opinion matter to me? If I get fired, it doesn't matter. The next job, I'm just going to keep trying to build the skill set, is really what that boils down to. So the Queen of Swords here, like I said, I mean, that's a really strong card of, communicating well, or certainly strategizing. And it does speak to, setting clear boundaries. And of course, with that Emperor, I see a lot of clear boundaries, but I also see direct communication, like I said. And so I feel like that's how you're approaching your situation or approaching people. It is a problem-solving energy. It's somebody who's quite self-reliant. So I feel like you're kind of moving into this energy, or you're at least hoping to. Because like I say, there is some things that you'll have to change here because you're in a frustrated energy. But with that Queen of Swords further out, it does indicate that there is going to be something up ahead here that is going to create, a better way for you to advance, because there is something that is more rule oriented, is what I would say you're looking for. A very structured environment is more so what I'm looking at here. But even with the Queen of Swords, she's not very overt, but definitely very intelligent kind of a person. Whether it's male or female, doesn't matter. It's just the energy of the card. But again, this is still kind of secretive about, and defending your position. But because it's next to the Hanged Man, I still feel like you're almost in that space of high frustration mentally, don't know how to deal with the situation. And so therefore, you're kind of stuck. So again, I still feel like you need to almost jump into something a little bit here with that Knight of Wands energy. It's almost like you need to jump into something, just do something, just take action, and able for you to overcome this Four of Swords energy, because it's really holding you back. Again, that Four of Swords energy is along that same line of, like, I feel like you're also keeping quiet about a lot of what you're doing here. I mean, the Knight of Wands is speaking to kind of back and forth energy, like you advance a little bit and then you're kind of pulling yourself away again from something. So it's almost like you're 2 steps forward, 1 step back, as I sort of mentioned before here. But the Knight of Wands is somebody who definitely wants to advance. They don't tend to stick around in a position maybe too long. And maybe that's part of the problem here, is that you're taking things too personally. And so because of that, it's leading you back into this space of Four of Swords, because it seems to be around job situation or Ace of Pentacles. Again, it could be, I don't really see a lot of love situation here, so I'm not going to read it that way. But I just feel like you're trying to, you're trying not to look back. You've got a bit of an adventurous spirit. You definitely want to get on with something here. But I feel like you're just not, there's too much energy of, I'm not going to stick around. I'm not going to take crap. I'm just going to keep leaving and keep moving. And it's almost like I say, with that Four of Swords energy, is that, you just kind of, it's creating, frustration for you. Like I said, that Four of Swords is you not being able to advance because of things that you're imposing on yourself. There is empowerment and enthusiasm to reach a goal with the Knight of Wands. But again, Four of Swords is, you're stopping yourself every time. And so whatever that is for you, you're holding yourself back here. And I feel like, again, maybe it's because there's too much conflict internally with you, and you need to, find ways to build yourself up. And that usually, like I said, it's going to come from a few hits, but not internalizing every hit. I mean, if a job doesn't work out, that doesn't necessarily mean it's, a reflection on you or your skill set. Sometimes it's just personalities don't mix or whatever. And then people look for excuses of any sort just to to indicate, oh, well, we've got to let you go because of whatever, some small thing. But again, oftentimes it's very political. And again, maybe somebody doesn't have the time to train someone new in a particular area or whatever. Doesn't matter. You just keep going. And whatever the pursuit is, again, still, when it lines up with your values and your true, core self, you'll start to realize that you don't mind doing it despite any, negatives around you, because you're learning a skill set and that you can take that into your next position or whatever. As far as, like I say, that Four of Swords energy, there's still a lot of introspection going on here, feeling a little isolated, ignored, that kind of thing. It's almost like you're still in this peace and quiet mode or searching for that, but there's also a lot of disappointment or stalls because of a work situation, is what I would say, or ideas that you're feeling are not projecting well. So, this is still you trying to take time away from things. And again, it's still a sense of, wanting to move forward, but not sticking around long enough to really build something up here. So again, if you're trying to work on a project, it just feels like there's a lot of back and forth energy here. And again, it doesn't feel like you are really progressing with a fair amount of advancement. Could also be dealing with a Libra here or energy as well. And maybe there's, back and forth sort of energy about that as well. But again, it still just feels like there's some things that aren't, you're still stalling, you're holding yourself back either way. As far as, the emotional healing I do see taking place here, because I did see, where was it? Sorry, I thought I saw that healing card out here. No, maybe not. But there is balance coming through further out. So I'll get to that one here in a second. But either way, I mean, this is still, somebody who really wants to put out more than what they're really able to do at this time. So I feel like that Ace of Pentacles, again, is still coming through as a new start that you really, and this could be a new job that's also starting in here as well. But again, it just feels like if it is a new job, it doesn't feel like it's a job that you're sticking around for. It feels like it's, kind of back, you start something new and then you're out of there again. So like I said, I feel like you just need to commit to something a little bit more, and that'll really give you more follow through, to watch something build up, and that should be more empowering. And yes, there's a feeling of inadequacy with anything that we start, but if you can, you say to yourself, it doesn't matter what I'm feeling at this moment, it's just a job, or it's just a, maybe I shouldn't put it quite like that, because that can almost deflate the momentum. But, really putting yourself into the position of, this is where I am right now. This is where I need to be. This is the skill set I need to develop. And then you just kind of push yourself out there wholeheartedly to really achieve something. But the Ace of Pentacles does indicate there is some level of stability in terms of your finances that is going to be coming through here in the month of July. And it does reflect some kind of positive reward for efforts that you're putting out. So it does feel like you're initiating some kind of a plan. Like I said, you're still going forward and you're still making some progress. It just feels like you're just not holding on to anything too long to advance it. So, and again, like I said, it could be a new business for some, new opportunity for others. You're all at different timelines and you're all at different stages of the game. Some of you are more entrepreneurial, so this would be a new stage of introducing something that's going to be more lucrative. For others, it's more of a job situation. For others, this is an opportunity that could be like a side job of some sort, that either way is going to help to advance you in some area of your life. So again, doesn't have to be money. It can certainly stand for anything that's tangible or helps to create some stability in your life. But that's what I'm seeing here, is that there is more of a long-term security with that Ace of Pentacles. But again, it's still going to take some time to develop that. It is a grounded energy, so I feel like you're trying to ground yourself, and this is where the Knight of Wands to the Four of Swords, you're just not quite in that energy yet, but this is where you're headed. Okay, so we're on to the Three of Wands. So Three of Wands is definitely a card of advancement. It also means that there could be a stage of holding off on something. There could be a bit of a delay, but it is still further along than the Two of Wands. So Two of Wands is kind of for me walking through the door. Three of Wands is I'm ready to move into that next stage of something. And I'm really considering something that is going to be possibly even word oriented with the King of Swords, or something that is going to require a lot of mental energy, or me putting myself through school or something like that. But there's definitely growth and creativity and certainly some kind of achievement. And I feel a lot of group activity here. So again, for some of you, maybe you are connecting up with people that will help to advance you on some way, in some way. But there's a certain level of cooperation that's required with the Three of Pentacles. So you might feel like you want to be in control of a situation or be a lone wolf, but still feels like with the Three of Wands as well as that Three of Pentacles, it is a group situation that you are finding yourself in this month and able to keep going. So Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries is also relevant. But again, it's kind of the card of being on the threshold of success here as well. So I feel like you are in that place where you're just about to, find some renewed sense of confidence, but you're kind of finishing up in a cycle here because I see the Ten of Swords still here. You're not quite in that energy. You're at the Nine of Wands, but it's coming. So again, you all heal at different rates. So some of you might be in this energy currently, others it might be still a little bit further out, but you're still looking forward to something here with that Three of Wands. And it's an optimistic sort of card because it does mean you're on some kind of a mission. You have some kind of a long-term plan that is commencing here. So it's not just something that is, just an idea. It really is something that you are starting to prepare for. There is also, energy around possibly kind of, I don't know, with that King of Swords, I'm just kind of trying to get a little bit more information on that one. Because like I say, the King of Swords is somebody who is in authority. Again, it's still sort of air sign oriented. So whether this is still Libra energy or whatever coming through here, because it seems to be kind of prevalent. But again, it still feels like, so you might be dealing with professionals or somebody who is in an area of power, or at least, communicates really well, something like that. But that King of Swords energy definitely still speaks to using a lot more of the mindset over, heart. So you're using a lot more intellect to kind of push you forward. So this is all about your mind this month. And again, strong beliefs. I feel like you have strong beliefs in this month. And I think that's part of what helps you to keep moving forward. But it can also create a bit of rigidity so that you're not able to move. So just to be aware of that, because there is a lot of cards here that speak to being almost too rigid. With the King of Swords, the Ten of Swords, I mean, the Hangman, frustration, Emperor. It's almost like there's too much rigidity to be able to find the fun or the potential or seek the joy in the situation to a certain extent, right? So even though I am seeing King of Swords as like writing and all of that, somebody with high standards, it also can go to the extreme where there's almost too much overbearing, controlling kind of energy here. And it feels like there's, rigid mindset is really what I would say there. And certainly the Seven of Swords does indicate that the Seven of Cups does indicate that there is a lot of confusion around, how you're going to be going forward. It's almost like I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do here. Because I've tried this and that. And Gemini, Libra, Aquarius is also relevant with that card there as well with the King of Swords. But again, it still speaks to old ideas and beliefs that are confusing you. It's muddling you so that you can't really move forward. So, or at least you're finding it difficult, challenging to move out of that space in your head. I feel like there are some blockages this month for sure that you need to kind of, look into. Again, read, study, whatever, research things to be able to kind of unlock yourself. But again, you're very defensive with that Nine of Wands. And that, again, there's a lot of cards of blockages here. So, and it does feel like you're not allowing a lot of things in. This is where you're still bringing things into a conclusion with the nines and starting to integrate it, but you are not in that space of flexibility just yet. So once you get into the tens and then just shy of that, that's where you're starting to see the flexibility. You're still preparing for a new beginning, but again, I think because of the confusion and all this back and forth energy, you're not really in that space to feel authoritative enough to really have enough endurance or energy to uh, commit to something. So I do feel like the energy around that Nine of Wands, again, is, you've got a lot of determination to succeed. You're definitely in a position of strength, and I do feel it is going to require a fair amount of courage for you to move forward out of this. It is a long battle for sure, especially with the Ten of Swords and the Knight of Swords. And again, so many swords, and it's been letting you down. There's been loads of frustration here, but I feel like you know what you what you want, as far as, but it's almost like you know what you want to achieve, but you don't know how to get there. But again, the environment seems to be more of being a lot defensive, suspicious, guarding yourself against others, not trusting. And even in terms of finances, it still feels like that you might be a little bit overdrawn or strained in some way in that area. There's a lot of small irritations, even around health areas, immune system, cold, anything that's kind of small, sore throat, whatever, fatigue, all of that comes up with the Nine of Wands. But you're still on purpose. You don't want to waver from your purpose, especially when we're at the Nine of Wands. But again, still in that energy of, take action, but I can't get past my own thoughts right now. So like I said, hanging on to old thought patterns is where you need to take a look at how you can release it. So it's, again, it's small steps toward those mindsets. But it's, again, once you realize that, it's not all about you or, another's or others specifically. It's about, and I say that because sometimes we get trapped in our mind thinking that we're not good enough, or something's not good enough, or the situation's not good enough, or the environment isn't ideal. And we start looking for all the limitations instead of looking at the things that empower us. Yes, if you have a lot of things to your credit, let's say you're younger, you've got a whole your future ahead of you. If you're older, you've got a lot of maturity and wisdom. When you're, in a, like, you have to kind of break it down from that perspective and realize that you come with gifts. People won't want you to recognize your gifts, because this is all about, it's kind of the one-up game, how to make yourself look good. And so everybody doesn't want, they feel if they, credit you in any way, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, somehow that defaces them in some way. So again, you really have to be resilient to that kind of put down. But I'm just going to say, everything is conquerable here with the Knight of Swords. So, you definitely you're eager to overcome your obstacles. You're very brave kind of person here, again, to be putting yourself through all of this. And really, you are using a lot of your logical, trying to look at the pros and cons and really look at things from a very direct way to be able to deal with something. So even though it's really leaving you a very unsettled kind of position, there is still a lot more, and there could be some communication coming in here toward the end of the month that's going to lead you to this wish fulfillment. It might even be a little further out, because the Justice card is what's in front of that. But I definitely feel like you are going to be able to seize control of some situations here. And even though you're highly impatient here, and certainly with that Ten of Swords, you're fed up, is what I would say there. You're still in that place of trying to integrate all of this energy. And it feels like it's just been such a very hard road, that there's some wounds, there's some scars, there's some healing that needs to take place, because you're not going to be, it almost feels like it's forced change on you. But it is a very dramatic cycle that you're trying to move on from. And I feel like, you're feeling like you were betrayed in a lot of different ways, because the Ten of Swords to me is not one betrayal. It's like a mountain of things that's kind of culminated. And so everything seems worse when you're in it. But when you actually are able to step back from the situation and realize that, it's just a chance for you to move on to something more, that's not dead wood and really right in front of you, holding you back. This is something where you're going to be able to transfer your skills and all this anxiety into something that's more productive. Because right now you're just putting it back into you, and it's paralyzing you, and it's not allowing you to act, is what I would say there. So you're kind of going through that death and rebirth sort of energy. And it feels like you're looking at everything as a bit of a disaster, and you've survived it, but it's almost like the fears are being carried out with you. However, on the upside, when we get over to the card of the Justice, I'm seeing a lot more balance. And again, this could be a little further out for some of you, but the Justice definitely speaks to trace amount of that kind of showing up here by the end of the month for some of you. But for the most part, like I said, Justice is a big card. It is the main card next to the Emperor. So again, really trying to get control of your situation, feeling stuck, but there is justice and there is happiness coming in here. But again, it's almost like you're a little disappointed with, maybe the level of what is supposed to bring in this balance, but there is the healing card, the Star. But you are healing from this level of, malaise and sadness and depression and low ebb. You're still in that place of healing. But the Justice card is sort of trying to allow something to right itself, so everything is starting to come through now, to kind of cure or create an effect where you actually can see that there is something rebalancing in your life, and you can be a little bit more impartial and not compromise yourself or feel like everything is lost. This is where you actually start to realize that there is some kind of balancing of the books. It's, some kind of judgment that's in your favor. This is where your life is starting to come into balance, and there's definitely something that's helping you to see that you can prioritize yourself here and your own happiness. There's something that's allowing you to see there is that up ahead. So whether this is like a small little grain of truth or an offering emotionally, but whatever it is, it's connecting you to some level of happiness here. So again, I really see that there is a clearer picture here of something that is coming in. And again, it's rebalancing the books here because it is allowing you to reach sort of a heart's desire sort of situation. So something you want with a Nine of Cups is coming in. So by the end of the month, or just shy of that for a lot of you, you're going to start to see that there is some kind of pleasure, something that you are entitled to because it's a rebalancing here. Something's going to give you a sense of contentment or fulfillment or happiness, abundance, anything. All of that really comes through with the Nine of Cups. Again, even though the Four of Cups is here, I'm going to just really take that. It's wedged between, a couple of really good cards. So I almost feel like if you are taking a bit of a back step, I think that you're really getting past that because you're starting to feel more safe and protected. You're starting to feel like those difficulties are starting to fade away because you are healing. And that could be a connection that's healing here as well. But it just feels like something is faring in your favor, that is going to bring you some level of happiness toward the end. So again, whatever that is for you, it is a wish fulfillment card. So it doesn't have to be the big ultimate wish that you'd hope for, but it certainly does speak to something that you desired, something that you want. And it is something that you're entitled to, and it definitely is synchronized to kind of, help you to heal. So whatever it is helping you to heal. For some of you, like I said, the Star card could for sure like be a card of, drawing attention and, big money and whatever, but I'm not really seeing it that way, not with this combination of cards. To me, like I said, it just feels like you're really in a place of feeling much more satisfied with yourself by the end of the month. Because something that you're probably manifesting is coming through here, and it's emotional satisfaction all around. So again, I feel like if it is something that, like whatever this Justice card is bringing in to kind of rebalance the books, it's helping you to feel like you are reaching some kind of personal vision on some level. So I'll just kind of recap it here again. So again, I feel like you're trying to take charge in your life, really trying to make a difference for yourself. And I feel like you're in that place of trying to accomplish something. It's just that you're feeling like you don't quite have a grip of things, but you're still not giving in with the Emperor. You're still in that place of, I'm going to control my show. I'm going to manifest the things that matter to me, right? So the Emperor is that person who is really consistent and has, plans and organizes and creates strategy. So I feel like that's where you're at right now. You're still, you know, almost an over controlling kind of energy here because it's next to the hangman. Rigidity is what I'm getting there. Even though you're leading with a certain sense of assertion, it's that rigidity, that over authority or over authoritative kind of energy that's it seems to be holding you back. It's a level of inflexibility that isn't allowing you to advance yourself here enough or to move it faster. And again, I mean, sometimes the way to break a pattern is just to do something different entirely, just to kind of get yourself unlocked. Take a little bit of a risk and, in a particular area, but not so uncalculated that, you feel like you don't have any control of the outcome, but at least taking something into your hands, even on a small level, just to be able to advance. Three of Pentacles, like I said, is advancement for sure, but it does speak to collaborative partnerships. So it feels like you want to go it alone, but you are around other people at this time. And that's what I feel is going to build your skills and your abilities. Learning from other people, teamwork, that kind of thing is your solution this month. And it's coming from more than one card here. And it definitely speaks to weaving something together with a negotiation, because the Queen of Swords could also sort of speak to that negotiation and things might be halted, but it looks like there is still some advancement. But again, it's almost like going back to the drawing board with the Knight of Wands to look at a solution and, renegotiate or whatever. So again, you could be still learning to interact with people here at this time as well, because there is that energy of I want to do things alone. I don't want anybody's help. And I feel like that rigidity again is where that could be the focus there, is that you're not focusing enough on allowing other people to come in and cooperate with you, or you cooperate with other people. So Knight of Wands, again, it's kind of an optimistic, well, it is an optimistic card, but it's a lot of impulsive nature that also comes through. So it's back and forth energy, again, falling between the Four of Swords. So I move ahead and then I stop myself before I go too far. I don't want to get too close to anything or anybody, that kind of thing. Ace of Pentacles, still in that moving forward for sure. It's getting more grounded, but it's still a little further out because the Four of Swords means you're halting yourself. Three of Wands, by the middle of the month, you're starting to kind of let go of something here, to try to look at things. But again, it's still kind of an energy of I'm holding on, but like I'm waiting to advance. I'm ready to go, but I'm still waiting for something to fall into place. So there's not quite enough there for you to grasp onto to really feel like you've arrived, but you are getting there. So there's some positive changes. There's some movement. Again, you're starting to see how the future will, will come out or turn in your favor, or at least show some advancement. But again, it's, you need to show up when these options present. And that's really what the Seven of Cups is here as well. You're a little bit confused about how to advance forward, but there is dedication in the cards here. There's dedication, and there is a fair amount of strategizing and organizing, for you to align yourself with the goals the things that you need. So there is a blessing, again, like I said, somewhere around the end of the month there. Again, some of you might be just a little further out because your timelines are all different. But again, when I see the Nine of Wands there, you're pretty close to something starting to turn in your favor. Like I said, and of course it does turn in your favor overall with the Justice card. But there's a certain amount of resiliency that you just need to handle, and, not be too rigid in your decisions here, because it's going to take determination and faith to get there, and just believing in yourself, because that is mostly what needs to happen, is believing in yourself. So again, lack of follow through is what I see over here. And if you just persevere a little bit longer, you're going to see that amounts to something, and that some of the vision is going to start coming through here. But right now you're holding yourself back, again, maybe because you feel exhausted. But either way, Justice card still indicates to me something is balancing out here, and you are going to be able to take advantage of that rebalancing of the book. So there's something of stability, something that's going to make you feel happy and more well adjusted, so that you can advance. So you're doing the right thing, by following this path. But again, it is seeking alignment emotionally, is what I would say there for the most part, because that Nine of Cups is here. And I definitely feel like you're in a place where you're starting to readjust or find find out maybe your own personal truth or something there. But either way, whatever that is, you're coming to it in such a way that it is allowing you to feel like your wish is coming true, or that there's a goal, or there's a blessing, or that there's a sense of peace that all kind of goes with this. So it's gratitude, feeling gratitude for the things that are going to come in here for you as well. And again, focus on deeper satisfaction, because that's what's going to come in here. And I feel like with that star card energy, I feel like, you know, the joys, you're going to start to see the joys in all those lessons. That star card is a really strong, powerful card of healing for sure. And it definitely speaks to you having more hope in this month. By the end, you're going to start to feel a lot more inspiration, feel more renewed, and there's a lot more faith and healing that's coming through there. So whatever is coming in here, it's kind of unexpected maybe, because given your heavy energy over here, I don't really think that you're expecting that the balance would start to, you know, follow through, but I do feel like that is going to be where your heart starts to open up here. So I feel like something is going to come through here and allow you to, it's going to meet your expectations on some way. So you're in alignment with something here. So it's like a clear path to something that you can actually feel is more in line with your vision. So I'm just going to get to the last few cards here. So we're just going to tie these up over here. And we're just going to pull out the last ones here. So I did actually pull out, these were kind of like outcome cards here. So what I saw here was, you know, again, this may be further out because it was more just a general, it was the outcome, not specific to July. But what I saw here was the World clarified by the Tower, clarified by the Empress. So that's pretty amazing cards in itself. So when I'm looking at the Tower, and the Empress, I mean, for sure, the World is a closing cycle. Something is wrapping up here, definitely unexpected. It's going to throw you for a loop because you are actually finding something that is making you, you know, feel happier. The Empress is that card of, you know, really feeling like a level of abundance, or, you know, that there is some, I mean, for some, this could be some kind of a divorce or disconnection or whatever. But I mean, I do feel that the World card for the most part it's kind of a wrapping up of that. So, but I do feel like, you know, once that kind of end with this possible relationship, even though a lot of this didn't really feel like relationship oriented to me, once that kind of passes, I feel like, you know, the World card is really just going to set you free. Like I said, it's almost like this has to happen anyway, because you are not allowing yourself to break free from it until something you know, finishes off here. So again, the Tower it's wedged between two very positive cards. So I don't feel this is, I mean, the Empress, again, it could be a divorce or something that is finalizing there, or something in around a something right around, I don't want to say abundance because it doesn't quite feel like that, but it's an unexpected change, something that, you know, somehow along the line here, like I said, I feel like this could be, because the Empress and the Tower, like I said, give me a second here, because it's almost like, I should probably just pull one more card here just to see where that is. Let's try that. Okay. What is the Tower? What is the Tower with the Empress in the World? What is the Tower with the Empress in the World? Actually, I'm taking the top. King of Pentacles, something around money. Is this a father figure? Or is this a job? Something around possibly money. That's going back and forth. Something you're trying to, let's just try one more here. What is the Tower? Okay, the Tower is something that could be temptation. Something that's tempting you. Something that's tempting you that could be around money. Well, like I said, I mean, if there is something here along a toxicity, I would say that is something you're being tempted by, is maybe easy money or something like that, possibly. You know, maybe you are sort of stuck in this energy of, because when I see the World card, like I said, I mean, that is the main card out here, and that is finishing up a cycle that has been chaotic. You know, that's been a really hard, difficult road for you. That's what I would say there. So you're finished with that. It's starting to understand, um, you know, all the things, all the lessons, tying everything in together and starting to amalgamate, you know, what it is that kind of led you to all that pain. But again, the World card really assures you that, you know, this is achieving a level of success and fulfillment. So I feel like that combination is going to be life altering. Whatever it is, it's going to be life altering, and is putting you on some kind of a path that I feel is super abundant. Again, whatever the toxicity is with that devil energy, I mean, that's possibly something that's influencing you here, whether this is an old pattern or, you know, old behavior or something like that. It feels like a pretty big thing that is going to disrupt you or change something here. I want to, like I said, when I get down to the, let's take a look at that one maybe then. We'll look at the Tower and the Empress. Like, again, that could be, you know, a relationship that is ending in divorce or something like that, or it seems like it's almost in a, you know, complete disarray. It's not going well, that kind of thing. But I mean, that's just looking at it from the standpoint of a relationship. But I mean, it's still energy that is changing in around levels of abundance or finance. So it's something unexpected that could be around work life. Maybe there is a loss of a job here, but if it is, there's too many positive cards that are kind of coming out here. So it feels like it's beneficial for you to make this change, whatever that is. But as I said, that devil feels like you are debating something, because you did have the Two of Pentacles that came up there. And it is about some kind of a renewal, some kind of a change, some kind of an upheaval that's going to cause a little bit of chaos here with the Tower. Let me just check that one out one more time here. Sorry, let's just get some of these out of the way there. Because I will say, I did pull a couple of other cards out here too, and they ended on a positive note, and it was emotional, actually. They were emotional cards. So there was the King of Cups and the Page of Cups, and I'll pull that forward here in a sec. So it's almost like that Tower card is something from the past. I don't feel like that's currently what's going on here, unless some of you haven't gone through that energy yet. But, I mean, these are the cards that, again, I'm pulling out that kind of coincide together. But the ones that I pulled out with the King of Cups, again, Cancer, water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, with the Page of Cups, means there's some kind of communication or some kind of information or something that's coming through with that King of Cups energy. So again, I mean, that could be a maternal, paternal, father figure, or it could be somebody who just represents emotional stability. But it's almost like the heart is opening up here with the Page of Cups. So it feels like there's something kind of abundant that's coming through. I do feel like there was upheaval and chaos, you know, in your world, so to speak. But now, like I said, these were the cards that were coming out where, you know, the King of Cups is that capacity to love again. And there's a lot more emotional intelligence, calm, compassionate, that kind of thing. Somebody who's very emotional, but also very powerful, really centered kind of energy. And again, this is somebody who's quite wise and definitely able to overcome challenges, you know, with calm, cool, collected sort of mindset. Maybe I'll pull a card on what the Page of Cups is here as well. But the Page of Cups, still along that same line,